So it's good to have social in your game because when you're playing the game and you see your friends are playing the game, you're more likely to enjoy it because you can see that they're enjoying it. And it's kind of like peer pressure for engagement. If your friend's still having a good time, you're having a good time. And then it helps improve metrics because if everyone's still playing it, they're bumping up retention, they're bumping up DAU, and then hopefully revenue follows. So the first metric you should think about when you're trying to measure in-game networks is just to count the number of nodes you have that are connected to your network and to count the number of edges in your network. Because even just with those simple ones, you get some really good insight into what's going on. More complicated ones could be things like the number of edges a node has, because that way you can see how important they are in the network. Also, you can look at the number of connected components in your graph to see whether it's increasing in size or decreasing. So users who are connected through social media tend to retain much better than regular users. Not as well as spenders, but it's much easier to find them. So to convert someone into logging into Facebook is really quite easy. To get them to spend is quite difficult. But then that smaller increase in retention goes a lot further in terms of your DAU. So to define your social network, all you need to think about are nodes and edges. So your nodes are just your players, or potentially whole groups of players, and your edges are just any meaningful interactions between them. So perhaps two players being connected to each other as being friends, or one player battling against another player. All of these things could be edges. And then once you've got those two, you just sort of start to plot out who's connected to who, and there you have your social network. So any downward trends in terms of, any of the metrics really, like nodes per DAU, edges per node, or size of your connected components, any downward trends in that would be dangerous and you want to keep an eye out for that. Especially if your edges per node is decreasing, because what that's telling you is that the nodes who are leaving your game are the ones who are really well connected, and they're the ones you want to keep because they're potentially your social VIPs. The idea of prodding players to act more socially is that if I take a group of them who are really well connected and somehow make them act more socially in the game, their friends will then see more social activity, and they'll then hopefully have a better time of it, and also then act more socially, and these ripples will continue throughout the game, or throughout the graph. So if you find the people who are most important to your network and just give them a little push to be more social, hopefully you'll see the other players acting more socially too. Social VIPs are going to depend on how you define your graph, but ultimately they're the ones who are contributing the most to your network. They're the ones who are really well connected, potentially of high importance. If they're connected to other important nodes, that also means that then they're going to be their impact will be even stronger when they have any effect on the network. So a good way to find them is to count potentially the number of edges coming out of them, or to use measures like eigenvector centrality, which is a bit tricky, but it gives you a good idea for who's really important in your network. The most popular social feature in Score Match has been bringing your friends' players into your team to use as players in your matches. As the player, you benefit from the fact that you've potentially got higher level players or different types of players, and the friends then benefit as well because they get some currency from your winnings. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship, and it's proven really well, although we do have some more ones coming which will hopefully also be equally important. So the biggest lesson we learned working with Score Match is that fundamental changes to the gameplay can have huge impact on the social network that we weren't expecting to have. We made a change to gameplay quite early on, and we saw these effects echo through the social graph up to a month later, and we didn't expect this. We thought we'd see the reaction quite soon, but actually it took a much longer time to impact the social network. Because these players are so heavily engaged in the game, they take longer to react to things, and if they don't like it, to then disappear accordingly.